Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ironworker Gaming channel. I am Ironworker814 and thank you for joining me for another Destiny 2 PvP viewer requested weapon review, where we take a look at pros, cons, stats, damage numbers, and how to obtain the weapon. This review was requested by DreadX1, Omar, and Tyler Barlow, and the weapon we're taking a look at today is the infamous Lord of Wolves. So if you find this video useful, helpful, or simply enjoyable, go ahead and leave it a like to show your support and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel to see more videos similar to this one. But Lord of Wolves at one point was an absolute terror in the Crucible. The ammo economy, the effective range, along with its sheer burst damage potential was a serious cause for concern. And just about 1 year ago, the nerf hammer came for Lord of Wolves. Bungie made it so you would get less special ammo on brick pickup when using scavenger mods when Release the Wolves was activated. And aside from the overall range being decreased, it was reduced even more aggressively when Release the Wolves was active. And then about 6 months later we saw another nerf to Lord of Wolves, where Release the Wolves now significantly reduces the weapon's accuracy while active. And not long after that, Lord of Wolves found its permanent spot in the vaults of many Guardians. And to this day, it's really not seeing a whole lot of play in the Crucible, even with the release of an exotic catalyst. The usage rate is hanging right around 0.1%, ranking it 135th on most used Crucible guns in quick play game modes over the last month. But is Lord of Wolves really that bad, or does it deserve a little more credit that it's been getting lately? We're gonna try to answer that in this review, right after we take a look at how to obtain this weapon and catalyst for those who have not done so already. Lord of Wolves is a returning Destiny 1 exotic that was brought forward into Destiny 2 with the Forsaken expansion. Initially, the only way you had a chance of getting this weapon was by completing Spider's weekly wanted bounty. But post Shadowkeep, Lord of Wolves became a random world drop also, or could be purchased from Xur. Lord of Wolves' exotic catalyst was released during Season of Dawn, and is also a random world drop for completing any activity. Once obtained, to complete the catalyst, you will simply need 500 general kills with Lord of Wolves. And with nothing else to touch on here, let's head into the stats and damage numbers. Lord of Wolves is an exotic solar burst fire shotgun shooting at 640 rounds per minute with 30 rounds in the magazine. This equates to a total of 5 trigger pulls at about a half-second interval. As far as the stats go, it's really hard to compare Lord of Wolves to other shotguns simply because it does not perform like a standard shotgun. But you will find that reloading a full magazine is much quicker simply because you are loading a clip into the gun instead of individual shells. You can also see that the range stat is on the lower end, but this can be deceiving simply because of the performance of Lord of Wolves. The bar next to the range stat simply just does not tell the whole story. Then checking the hidden stats on light.gg, we can see we have an aim assist value of 80 with a recoil of 80, causing the weapon to pull to the right with a bounce intensity of 20. The intrinsic trait is Shrapnel Launcher, fires a powerful short-range burst of solar damage, more specifically 5 individual bullets. The exotic perk is Release the Wolves. Hold your reload button to swap to a longer, more powerful burst. This burst will fire off 10 rounds in quick succession as opposed to 5. As for the exotic catalyst, this helps in 2 different ways. First, it can increase the reload speed when Release the Wolves is activated, but it will also increase stability for the base fire mode. Alright, for the damage numbers, Lord of Wolves is going to do 61 points of damage on a crit and 43 points of damage to the body, which gives us a near instantaneous optimal time to kill, coming in at approximately 0.2 seconds. Requiring 3 crits and 1 body, and a body shot time to kill that comes in at around a quarter of a second, requiring all 5 shots from the burst to land. When Release the Wolves is activated, your damage numbers will change. You're going to be seeing 65 points of damage on a critical hit and 53 points of damage to the body. For the range in the base fire mode, you will still see damage with no fall off up to the 10 meter mark. Past that, you will see some damage fall off, but you will still be able to secure a 1 burst kill if you work in some crits at 12 meters. Past that, you're just not outputting enough damage to down a target in a single burst. With all the changes we've seen to Release the Wolves, it is now simply made for barrel stuffing your opponent. It will still output a ton of damage, but good luck hitting them if you are not close enough to punch them in the face. Alright, first off, in my opinion, the biggest advantage to using Lord of Wolves in the Crucible is the ability to secure a 1 burst kill from just outside of standard shotgun range. This is basically the same principle we talked about in the Chaperone review. Enemy players just don't anticipate being instantly dropped, or near instantly dropped, from these ranges. And Lord of Wolves can handle itself pretty well if you want to use it aggressively. I wouldn't call it the most agile gun in the game, but the high aim assist stat does make it feel like Lord of Wolves is actively trying to stick onto your targets at closer range. And then the in-air accuracy actually does feel really good, considering that it is a burst fire weapon. Next, the catalyst in the standard fire mode, which improves stability, does really seem to help out with the recoil of this gun. I tinkered with Lord of Wolves both with and without the catalyst, and the catalyst does seem to negate a good bit of muzzle climb when the burst from this weapon fires off. Also, when you start out or respawn, you are going to have 15 rounds in the magazine for your Lord of Wolves, so basically you are getting 3 trigger pulls. Any other standard shotgun, you're only coming in packing 2 rounds. And then when Release the Wolves is activated, you have the ability to drop a Guardian in their roaming super like right now. This can be a risky play due to the amount of nerfs that the Release the Wolves perk has accumulated throughout the last year. But still, the ability to drop a roaming super full stop cannot be ignored. And with all that covered, we do have some drawbacks to touch on with Lord of Wolves, and we'll do that now as we head into the cons. Alright, for the cons, the main drawback I find when using Lord of Wolves is while that it is a shotgun, it does not have that instant one-shot potential. The burst does fire very quickly, but it still does take time for all 5 of those bullets to release, meaning that if you're challenged by another shotgunner in their weapon's effective range and you both pull the trigger at nearly the same time, you will get dropped before all your shots leave the gun. This can also happen if you've taken some damage and your opponent sneaks a melee in on you. Both of these scenarios are definitely something you need to be aware of. Next, and really the only other major con that I want to touch on, is the fact that I do not like the Release the Wolves perk for general use. Now there's no doubt if an opponent is coming at you in a roaming super, Release the Wolves is the way you want to go. But for me personally, I would rather keep this thing in the base fire mode and take advantage of the increased stability from the catalyst, because I want to ensure that each of the shots fired from this gun lands exactly where I place them. To be quite honest, I can't trust Release the Wolves to land 3 shots where I want them to go. I tried hip firing, I tried aiming down sights, those bullets just seem to spray all over the place. And Bungie had said in that nerf they wanted it to be used at extreme close range. And well, mission accomplished, because like I said when we were checking the range on the weapon, I'm not comfortable pulling the trigger with Release the Wolves unless my barrel is stuffed right in my opponent's gut. So for all intensive purposes, unless I hear an enemy super pop off, I am going to keep Lord of Wolves in the based fire mode at all times. So for the verdict, and do I think Lord of Wolves is a good option for PvP? Surprisingly, I am definitely going to say yes. And I say surprisingly because I saw a lot of people completely trash this gun post-nerf. Some even went as far as to say that this was now the worst shotgun in the game, but I wholeheartedly disagree. It was a lot stronger than I was expecting, and yes, Release the Wolves has been nerfed into the ground and is essentially useless in most cases, but this gun is still good. It's still very good in the right hands. Top tier? Not quite anymore, but still good. The ability to put down players outside of standard shotgun's effective range, and the damage to dispose of players in a roaming super very quickly make the utility of Lord of Wolves really valuable. And it is definitely a weapon that I personally would have no reservations about picking up and using in the Crucible here in Season of Arrivals. If you haven't taken your Lord of Wolves for a spin in a while, definitely give it another shot, stop back and let me know what you think. And since you've made it to this point in the video, how about leaving it a like if you did enjoy it, and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel if you have not done so already. You can also look for Ironworker814 on Twitch or Twitter to contact me or to catch me live. But the best way to contact me is simply to comment down below. I read and respond to all of your comments because I appreciate your feedback and I respect your time. And with all that being said, I'd like to sincerely thank you for spending a piece of your day checking out this weapon review. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.